From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
The toast is toast and the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here, and it's early mornings LALATE. Thank you for joining me on a big early mornings broadcast with big coverage about your fourth stimulus check. That's the monthly stimulus checks that the Democrats, both House and Senate members, want to give you starting in the month of July. I'll have the latest coverage and the latest update about your fourth stimulus check, those monthly stimulus checks. Then I'll be covering the SSI reform that heated up yesterday and will be heating up today. That SSI reform is part of the fifth stimulus package that starts in September. This would raise your benefits, incredible sums of money, tie them to new benchmarks, and give you a lot more money in your pocket than you've ever seen. And these would be permanent changes to the SSI system. It includes both veterans and also SSDI. Meantime, also coming up in this recording is the latest update about student loan debt forgiveness, the new announcement from the president yesterday, and also a new twist happening for child assistance of $3,600. There's a lot happening. The toast is toasted. The butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and I'm really excited for you to join me in a big broadcast. I got a lot to cover on this show, and this is Early Mornings LALATE. And I'm here, you're here, and I'm so excited for you to join me on a big early mornings broadcast. It starts our programming schedule through today, mornings LALATE, noontime, afternoons, and then evenings and late night. Thank you for joining me. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. If you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. In this recording, I'm going to go over the fourth stimulus check, those monthly stimulus checks, the fifth stimulus check, which would involve a lot more checks than you have ever seen before. It involves SSI reform, and it also involves a lot more money for the children. Then I'll be going over student loan debt forgiveness, also big updates about mortgage assistance, and also details about what's happening with childcare, student loan debt forgiveness, and a new twist about getting money for a vaccine. Yes, all happening, and let's get right to it right off the bat. Fourth stimulus is where we are right now. Fourth stimulus has also been called the American Jobs Plan, or the Recovery Act, or the Infrastructure Bill. And yesterday, we saw from the Republicans an introduction formally of what they said over the last 4 weeks. They're not going to give the president $1 for climate. And to make it very simple, he said, if I don't give money for climate, we're going forward. And now it's signaling that he needs to go forward and shouldn't wait. Here's what you need to know. The reconciliation process is a 2-month process at least. This time it's going to be a little bit more complicated than the third stimulus. Why? Because we're changing tax codes. It's not that particularly easy. Second, it's going to involve a lot of new stuff. Third stimulus was looking back at second stimulus and just saying an additional month of this and an additional 2 months of that. The third stimulus package bill was 300 pages long. This is going to be about 3,000 pages long. So they need to start this soon. To which viewers ask me when, how much, where, and how does this work? Bottom line is first round of stimulus checks would be July. And the second thing is that the vote needs to be done by July because there's a lot of big things at issue. First, Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer both say that the vote would happen by July 4th. Now, you want the vote to happen by July 4th because of one, they go on vacation to September. Yeah, every month that passes costs you a stimulus check. Number two, the economy could rebound by September. Number three, there is new data, which you're going to see in this video, that the president in September has another stimulus package ready to go. So this needs to be done before they get to the next one. To which, let's look at the data. The House members want to give you a stimulus check for the pandemic's duration and then 1 year thereafter. So if there's 6 months left on this pandemic, they want to give you 6 months and an additional year thereafter. That's 18 months of stimulus checks. The Senate wants to give you stimulus checks from now to December, so less time. Who are the movers and shakers? Yesterday, I detailed a new twist to this. The House members are progressives and the senators are the leading core of the Democratic Party. But what's really interesting here is that a lot of these senators have standalone bills or a lot of legislative causes they want to do. And so they want to add those to the fourth stimulus package in addition to the stimulus checks. So they want the recon to start very quickly, whether it's raising minimum wage or the wealth tax for Elizabeth Warren or anything else. How much are you going to get paid? The House members want to pay you $1,000 a month after the first month, and then going forward, then they want to pay you $2,000 the first month and $1,000 thereafter. Senate members, the amount is unknown, but word on the street, this is what the senators want to pay you. $2,000 an individual over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 an individual over 6 months, which is $8,400. Now, here's what a series of viewers have asked me about this, and let me answer some of those questions right now. One, when would the first check go out? July. So they absolutely, positively, 100% have to get this to a vote by July before they go on vacation. So 10 days thereafter, the first set of stimulus checks would go out, July. When would you get a check for? For the month of July. And then you would get a check every month? Yes, to December. Is this for the whole household? No, this is for an individual. To which some viewers may say, but that just seems like a lot of money. Hold it up for a second till you see this. OMG. The president this week has revealed that between his January start date and his September month in office, he wants to spend $6 trillion in his first 9 months as president. It's one of the biggest spending we have seen in a generation. And guess what? In that fifth stimulus in September, he wants to do the child credit of $3,600 for 5 years. So here's what you need to know. I know you've been with me since 2020. We have a wonderful family here, and things have changed since 2020. And in 2020, we would say, they don't even want to give us $200. They don't want to give us $300. You got to wipe that memory out, because now this president in the fifth stimulus in September wants to pay children 17 to newborn $300 a month for 5 years on top of the year now. So 6 total years. 6 times $4,000 approximately. That's $20-something thousand. Yeah, he has no qualms paying $20,000. He will have no qualms paying you $8,000 as an adult for stimulus. Now, who gets this fourth stimulus? This is you. If you make less than $75,000, it's you. Married couple, $150,000, it's you. SSI, STI, it's you. And then I get some really great questions. What if I'm on SSI? Does this trigger this is income? I have to pay taxes on it? No. Stimulus checks are not income. Second, viewers say, well, I'm on SSI, it would be too much cash in the bank. No, it wouldn't qualify for that either. So again, if you were less than $75,000, you would qualify for it. Household, 4 or less, but you would multiply the check by the number of people in the household. And then if you're on SSI, STI, this is you as well. Very, very straightforward. That is how yesterday started. But then throughout the day, we heard from the Republicans. And what did the Republicans say? They basically said, no, we're not doing that. The Republicans, as early as 4 weeks ago, told the president that they have a counterproposal. And the counterproposal from the Republicans was the following. To the president's $2 trillion fourth stimulus package, they proposed $600 billion. Sound pretty small? $600 billion versus $2 trillion, it is a big difference. So why such a big difference? They proposed the following: cut out climate and then reduce the infrastructure. So that's only $600 billion. To which the president said when he orally heard about this over the last 3 weeks, I'm not doing that. I have to have money for climate. And then last Friday, his press secretary said, we haven't seen a counterproposal from the Republicans. Well, yeah, you heard it. They appeared on broadcast and media all last Sunday and repeated the number, 600. Sometimes they'll say 600 to 800, but it's still about 600, 800. Well, guess what? The president met with them yesterday, and they prepared in writing that counterproposal and offered it to him. And he said, no, I'm not doing it. Come back with another counterproposal. It's peculiar because usually when you're negotiating with someone, you respond back with your own offer. He said this is not even a good offer to come to the table. Guess what? They're not going to come to the table. Time to start recon. Now, here's what you need to know, is that the stimulus checks is the only way you're going to get them is from recon. You want recon. And that Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi, and certainly the president, who's a former senator, knows you got to start recon early. It's a long process. You got to start it early. So while today, Thursday, is going to be a climate conference, and you can hear him talking about climate on Thursday and talking about on Friday, you got to understand, he already knows he has to start recon. This is all for optics. Ultimately, recon's going to start, and away we go for recon. Now, it's important to understand that those House members could get those stimulus checks in there, or the senators could put those stimulus checks in there, but it's not the president. He's not writing the bill. They're writing the bill. Meantime, a lot of interesting other twists happened yesterday, and I need to explain those to you as well. Because, boy, suddenly we went from one stimulus package to talk about fourth stimulus to now fifth stimulus, and now all these standalone add-ons from third stimulus that haven't been paid or new separate bills. It's getting very elaborate on this channel. In just like a heartbeat, it just went from just one subject to now 10 subjects. So let me go over each of them very slowly at a time. Fifth stimulus in September, which is called the America Family Plan, the AFP, will have relief for families. And with that, series of Democrats earlier this week debuted their SSI reform. Now, I call it the SSI reform. It's the whole Social Security Administration reform. It's not just SSI. It's everything. I just have to say, I just have to call it something. And that SSI reform has absolutely incredible items in there. Let me go over broadly what it is. They want to raise up all your benefits so lifetime you'll be at a brand new number much higher, and that every year it'll go up higher based upon inflation. They also allow you to be able to go out and work and still stay on benefits. And they also want you to be able to keep more money in the bank. Very, very simple. That's sort of the summary of the situation. Now, let me go over the detail. First, they want to increase your benefits. So that would basically say if they're giving you $300 a month, for example, for right now, I'm just using an example, $300. They want to raise you to a new number. And that new number will be your new number to start. But then they want you to have your benefits reassessed every December like they are, but be tied to inflation. Inflation would be your new benchmark, not COLA, the current benchmark, which doesn't move, so your benefits don't change. Inflation is generally 2% annually in this country. Sometimes it's 3%, sometimes it's 1%, but it's generally 2 to 4. So you absolutely would know that your benefits are increased about 2% annually, meaning you would keep on going up or stay the same. You would never get smaller. Then the asset limits. They want you to have the ability to hold more cash on hand and not be in trouble going off benefits. And then the great other stuff. I mean, just everything is wonderful about this. They want to remove the income exclusion. The income exclusion prevents you from working over a certain amount of money per year or fall off benefits. They want to get rid of it and then set a new income exclusion, which is very, very high. It's somewhere about $1,000 a month they want to allow you to make, or something more like that, like $12,000, $15,000 a year. And they want to tie that to inflation so it can move up as well. And then they want to get rid of the marriage penalty. And they want to put this all in the fifth stimulus package. Great money. Great, great money. Now, to which you're going to ask me questions like how, when, how much. Let me answer those questions. First, when? Fifth stimulus, the American Family Plan, the SSI reform would start in September. And again, it's going to have to go by recon. I mean, it just absolutely has to go by recon. So, you're looking, it's not going to be as complicated as roads and bridges, but you're looking at about a 2-month process. So I don't think your first financial benefit, the first time you would see a change of your money, would be at least 2 months out from this. But from 2 months out from September. It could be a month and a half, but that's what's happening. There is no bill for it. There is no law for it. But this is teeing up what's happening in September. You see, I'm not going anywhere. You see, I'm not going anywhere. That's fifth stimulus. That was fourth stimulus. Okay, what happened yesterday with third stimulus? Yesterday, the President of the United States addressed the American people, and I didn't run the video yesterday because I thought the video was just going to confuse people. And I still think the video's going to confuse people. Why? Because it confuses me. I mean, imagine if I'm confused, how confused you're going to be. Not that I'm the be-all and end-all, but I found it very confusing. What did he talk about in that announcement yesterday? He was talking about third stimulus, the one that's already law, from January. He talked about something that's new, but it's not new. It's something that's already law. If that sounds confusing, it was. And then he talked about, I'm going to summarize it for you. So you hear, and you're going to be completely baffled what I'm saying. He said that if you have to go, he wants you to go get vaccinated. And if you go get vaccinated and get sick from the vaccination, which is like a very, I don't know why you're having a press conference about that. Why are you announcing people getting sick at a press conference? And then he talks about you have to stay home for a week because you're sick because of the vaccine. I don't know anyone that's staying home for a week sick from the vaccine. In fact, if you're sick for a week, you're probably at the hospital. I mean, the whole notion of this press conference is very bizarre. But that's what he said. What he wants to do is provide. He wants you to know that under the third stimulus package, there's now law to pay you money, but the money doesn't come to you. I told you this is complicated. What it is your employer can apply for a tax credit and pay you a tax credit and then get that tax credit off of their tax return and then give you that money. Yeah, that's why I didn't cover it. So I'm sure you're totally confused, and that's what he apparently did. He couldn't get the word saloon and salon clear. I couldn't get whatever the rest of the press conference was about clear as well. Bottom line is you're not getting paid $500 to get a vaccine. That's what the conference sounded like, the press conference. It sounded like you're getting paid to get vaccinated. That's not what he said, but that's what probably it sounded like. And with that, let me cut to something that's a little bit clearer. A little bit clear is that Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer are not happy with this president, and I'm not either, as we have been waiting anxiously for that Miguel Cardona letter about your student loan debt forgiveness that's now over a week late. Did he forget to do the forgiveness letter? Yeah, remember Elizabeth Warren got that big win with Chucky Schumer that the president's education secretary will prepare that deal memo within 2 weeks, which was last Friday, to determine whether a president can, by executive order, forgive student loan debt. I guess he forgot to do the letter about forgiving student loan debt. So now he's indebted to us for, for a letter. Not particularly clear what's going on here. And I know Schumer is not happy about the situation. It shows that someone's almost like blowing someone off in the situation. Not particularly cool. As the president continues to talk about everything else besides student loan debt forgiveness. Elizabeth Warren, meantime, is making great news, which you're probably very excited about, because in addition to signing that letter for SSI reform, in addition to writing the president a letter urging for multiple stimulus checks, in addition to being an advocate for seniors reform, she is also having a hearing next Tuesday called the Senate Finance Committee on Fiscal Responsibility of Economic Growth to talk about the wealth tax. The wealth tax is Elizabeth Warren's standalone bill she introduced to the Senate in January, which you saw on this channel. It's the bill which she had talked about while campaigning for president. Remember, the idea of paying $2,400 for SSI and SSDI came from Elizabeth Warren, not from the president. It was her idea. He accepted the idea. And she, when asked on the campaign trail, was asked, how are you going to pay for it? She said, a standalone bill called a wealth tax bill. Well, that was introduced in January, and now it's heating up next week as she's about to have a press conference. If you're a member of this channel, you have seen a lot of PDFs in just the last few days. First was her letter to Leon Cooperman, which on page 2 of the letter at the very end has an email address from her staffer. This is a public letter, and she says to reach out to that staffer for insight. It's a great email address to use if you want to talk about MSC or SSI reform. I'm sure they'd appreciate your professional input. As a member, you saw that. You also saw the Romney plan. In 2020, Mitt Romney introduced a plan, not the hazard pay one, another Romney plan, that would revise the Social Security Administration system. It's not particularly well received as a plan because it proposes to cut some of your benefits. You also have a copy of that bill. Meantime, you also have a copy of the SSI reform that I detailed early in this video. So a lot of big things happening. And guess what's also happening? That Ron Wyden bill, you got a copy of that as well. Let me go over that Ron Wyden bill. Ron Wyden proposes to solve the disappearance of PUA in September. Remember, PUA, FPUC, and PUC are going away. So are mortgage forbearance and eviction moratorium. They're all going to go away around September. So Ron Wyden has stepped in with an incredible, great idea, thinking out of the box. He says it's not fair we don't have benefits for unemployment for PUA people. So he has introduced a bill to the Senate that would make it a law that the federal government would pay you as a PUA person in the future when you need money. Incredible. Sort of like unemployment, just for PUA people, but paid from the federal government. How much? $250 a week for up to 6 months or $6,000 per year. And it's a permanent idea. It's not something tied to COVID. Really incredible, great news. I'll have more about those details and more coming up after this commercial break. Stay with me. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues later today on LA with a big programming schedule. It's easy breezy and easy to follow along. It's a new show every 2 hours. Back with you on Mornings LALATE at noontime, Eastern Standard Time, followed by Noon LALATE, which is at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we go into Afternoons LALATE at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shows then continue in the afternoons, and they start with afternoon's second show at 6 p.m., then evenings LALATE at 8 p.m., and then LA Late Night, our reverent, non-informational, laughing-only show. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you're not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Here's a couple of other updates about things happening for your stimulus. The mortgage and the rent and the utilities and the property owners' utilities assistance, things like that, for purposes of second stimulus has not landed in some states. So if you're in, like, for example, the state of Florida, for reasons unclear, it has not landed. Give it time. It's still landing. Not particularly clear what's happening. But for the other states, but for other states, it has landed. Meantime, in May, all the states will get the third stimulus money happening across the board. Also at issue is the business grants. The shuttered venue grant has been delayed going live. The $5,000 EIDL grant, new applicants, has yet to go live. No clarity about that from SBA. The PPP grant has been extended by SBA, thank goodness, by the president, by executive order. You reach out to the online lenders like Fundera and Cabbage for that. And then the remainder of the $10,000 EIDL grant from 2020 is being paid. So if you responded back to the email from SBA to increase your grant to $10,000, and you did that in February, you may be stuck in a vortex. They know about the vortex and they're getting to it. Away we go. Meantime, the child's money of $3,600 or $3,000, which starts in July. There's a new report out that says you may have to repay it. Let me explain what the report is seeming to signal. It's not, again, a clear report. Let me explain what's going on. The people who qualify for that money for that child are people that IRS knows the child exists. So you have to make sure they know the child exists with like a tax return. And you made less than $75,000. Very easy. Now, if you made more than $75,000, you can get less up to the phase out where they don't pay you anything at $100,000. So what is this money for? This is an advance for next year's return, 2021. The concept of the series of articles released yesterday is that if you went from making very little, under the 75,000, for example, in a prior tax year that IRS has on file, and then when they look at your 2020 return and you suddenly made $250,000, way over the threshold, don't qualify for the money, they're going to ask for the money back. So if you see massive fluctuations in your income below and above the threshold, remember, you can get the checks up to 75, and then after 75, it phases out to 100,000. You need to absolutely bring this up to your tax preparer, of which I'm not. Meantime, who's going to get that forced stimulus? Incredible big money. It's if you make less than 75,000. If the household is 4 or less. If you're on SSI or SSDI, this is you. This is the biggest payout you've ever seen for viewers of this channel for a single individual. You need to really push because ultimately, big money is at play. The president wants to spend money. He wants to spend $6 trillion in 9 months. He's not adverse to spending this money on you. So you need to keep on spending and spending across the board. Meantime, you know what today is? Yeah, today is the new unemployment numbers. Let's look and see where we were last Thursday. Last Thursday, we came in at the lowest unemployment new claims number since March of 2020. It was just incredible. This is one of those numbers you want to watch today because this signals how fast the growth of the recovery is. Let's say, for example, the number stays the way it is this week, comes in at 550 or 540. Good. It doesn't show we're speeding up any more than last week. Let's say the number comes in at 300,000. Oh boy, you got to be worried because now we're speeding up this recovery, economic recovery, faster than anyone anticipated. Remember, a recovery that's too fast may put the jeopardy of paying stimulus at issue if they don't get this bill done sooner rather than later. Again, the previous estimate for last week was 710. It came at 576. And then let's look at this number we're going to see later today. Shortly after sunrise. The unemployment continuing UI claims last week dropped by 1.2 million to 16.9. Let's see where this number comes. This is a huge number because remember, stimulus is gauged upon the absence of jobs and the absence of people no longer unemployed. Last week, the big drop for unemployment was California, Virginia, Texas, and Ohio. We're going to be watching all that data and more on a big day. But here's what you need to know as we start a new early mornings broadcast. When we're talking about forced stimulus, there's only 2 risk factors at issue. Getting it done soon enough and getting it done soon enough. It's just those 2. Why they need to be done soon? Because 1, they go on vacation. They literally go on vacation from July to September. You don't want them going on vacation. If they go on vacation, you miss a check every month they're on vacation. That's sort of obvious. Number 2, if they go on vacation in September, in July, guess what happens? The economy could rebound, and no one in this channel or no one else can certainly predict how quickly this rebounding of this economy is happening. If it accelerates its growth of rebounding faster than where it is currently, then it could give some Democrats cold feet when they get the bill in the Senate. So ultimately, the only risk for this is the time. Now, bipartisanship, getting this done by bipartisanship looked like a risk about a week ago. But now that the Republicans over 4 weeks have said the same thing, no money for climate, the president said, I have to have money for climate, and they come back and say, no money for climate, it signals where we're going, recon. They've also said we're not even giving the full amount of money for infrastructure you want. They're at $600, $700, $800 billion. He's at $2 trillion. They're miles apart, as he said as well. So with that, away we go. You want to push Purple Power, hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. You want to push and ensure that they understand that they need to start this recon now. It takes 2 months at least to do a recon. You don't want to wait to the 11th hour. Later today, I'll have some more of those videos from the White House. I didn't cover anything from the press secretary yesterday, which, yes, it was not teal. It was not a teal day. I did not cover it because actually there were very few questions from the field reporters about stimulus. But I look forward to seeing you later on mornings at LALATE, noontime, and then afternoons at LALATE. A new show every 2 hours starting in mornings. And then we go into afternoons, evenings, and LA late night. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We are approaching our 1-year anniversary, April 25th. Wow, just exciting. April 25th is our 1-year anniversary, trying to get to 400,000 subscribers. We made it to, I think, 394. So let's keep on doing it. Subscribe and get us to 400,000. Also, like this video. Every like helps, 2,000-3,000 likes. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, and Calcino VIP, and see these incredible PDFs and more that are happening across the board. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful morning. The toast is toasting. The butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and I look forward to seeing you later on LALATE.